is up? What is up? This dick is in the house. Y'all know I gotta say that a bunch of times. Damn, look, nigga be like, hold on, I can't hear my headphones looking at. Man, what is going on? What is going on? So much is going on. Like, I'm gonna say it again, and I'm gonna say it one more time. Did he come back? Damn, did Jesus not coming? Damn. Nigga get to acting like James from from Good Times. Damn. Shout out to everybody that's handling business. Shout out to all the motherfuckers that's doing what they need to do to survive. Shout out to everybody that's not praying to Cesare Borgia, but praying to the run and true high supreme being, which is a black guy. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to everybody that understand what's going on, all these killings and those bombings and shit. Motherfuckers like, damn, what the fuck is really going on? But shit, I'm still trying to see what's up with this pussy type shit. So shout out to all y'all niggas too, because there's plenty of y'all niggas out there. Hold on, let me see something. Oh no. Yeah, y'all can hear me. Shout out to y'all. Yeah, there you go. Now, I'm trying to make sure that shit, y'all niggas can hear me. Hey man, shout out to everybody that's at the Court Plantation right now, working their ass off during this holiday season. Shout out to y'all. That shit is not fun. It's never been fun. I don't wish it on any black person that's foundational or native black. Shout out to niggas that understand the tricks and the fuckery behind you getting up and going to work every day, right? After your ancestors done built this country, so Europeans basically can live good, right? And then they tell you you're still not a good worker. What kind of shit is that? So shout out to niggas that understand what it is. Get in and get out. Don't be trying to be no good worker for these motherfuckers. Be a good worker so you can get your money, get your paper, and go on about your way. Stop sandboning and cooning and telling about the gun line boss and doing all this bullshit. Niggas need to stop that shit, man. Straight up. The shit's getting old, man. Shout out to all the motherfuckers out there trying to commit crimes during the holiday season, running game like a motherfucker. So shout out to them. And shout out to everybody that, man, during this holiday season just trying to spend time with their fam and their loved ones and doing what needs to be done to survive and handle their business. Because, man, there's a lot of shit going on, man. A lot of killings. We're going to talk about the motherfucking Nashville bombing and all the other bombing, then how they bombed the AT&T building or some other shit. And after they bombed the building, like, oh, we don't understand what's going on. Stop. Which just happens to be the building that was being held under investigation for all that voter fraud and shit. So we gonna get into it, man. Shout out to everybody that's, I would say, enjoying a day off. If you had a day off, man, enjoy it, man. Don't be worried about that Court Plantation job. Fuck that, man. Don't let these motherfuckers take your time away from that motherfucker. See, motherfuckers be so glued to the Court Plantation jobs, they don't know how to move forward. Me, I don't. When I'm away from that motherfucker, I act like the motherfucker don't exist. As Dr. Joy DeGruy talks about, you gotta detox yourself from white folk. They have been the most vile, vicious, undermining, backbiting, devilish people in this United States of America Incorporated the last 450 years. So don't ever let your guard down when you're dealing with them until they prove otherwise. They got any other racial group that's around you, they are a suspected white supremacist until proven otherwise. So always keep your guard up. And just because they cool with you, that don't mean that they your friend. Hey. Man, let me tell you something. Right now, I'm reading this book, The Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. Very, very good book. I'm reading it again. It's my second time reading it. He spent so much fire in that book and so much shit that I kind of remember, but now I'm remembering it again. Just talking about how the Europeans, when they come across African history, they try to obliterate it and eviscerate it and act like that history doesn't exist. And then they put their own history on it. Like how they want to Greekify Egypt as if Egypt does not belong to Africa. as if Egypt is not in the continent or on the continent of Africa. That's what they want to do, and they want to have everybody else believe in that shit too. That's like a nigga saying, that's like a nigga saying, yeah, I'm from the United States of America, but I'm not American. Where were you born at? The United States of America? Well, then you're American. No. I'm not American. That type of shit. Fuck out of here. Man, we already know what it is to be on top of our shit, have a different understanding, supreme understanding, and supreme mathematics. Study that shit, man. I got books on that. I'm gonna get to it. If you're not studying, then you're not living the right way. You gotta study. Study from the cradle to the grave. As Nearly Fuller Jr. says, I'm still learning. I'm always learning. I'm always trying to be on a quest for knowledge and study. But we about to get into it. Man, there's so much shit. Hey, man, let me just say something real quick. If y'all niggas think these bombings and all this other shit ain't programs that they running within this system of the Matrix, y'all niggas is crazy. And all these killings, they know what the fuck they doing because they don't care. They, as Dr. Claude Anderson teaches, police, these AKA these race soldiers, are killing black folk because simply they can kill black folk with impunity and nothing happens to them. Y'all too busy trying to smile with these police officers and give them hugs and shit and give them water. And man, the police do good too. Okay, well then why don't you good cops tell on the so-called black bad ones? All these killings in Ohio. Casey Goodson Jr. It's so funny. That's why they pictured my thumbnail. Y'all check out the thumbnail picture. You see is your boy Ben Crump. It's so funny how he finds all these families and seek them out. Maybe some of these families are seeking him out too. But with Casey Goodson Jr.'s family attorney, he didn't do a lot of smiling when it came to law enforcement. He trying to prosecute them. He's trying to make sure they get prosecuted to the full terms of the law. He not doing a whole lot of smiling and all this other bullshit and putting the head down and we just want just bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And you notice they're not getting a lot of press. The only press really that they got was when they was on the Breakfast Club. Other than that, they ain't got no press at all. And yet another killing. And I'm gonna keep telling y'all, justice is just. Justice means just us. Not everybody. Look, everybody else didn't build this country. Native blacks built this country. Too much documented history that tells you otherwise. So when you're in the states, when you are in the confines of the United States of America Incorporated, you are native black, foundational black American, or native black. You native to this landmass. Don't let these people tell you how they came over here from another country with $1 in their pocket and they built their generational wealth. What you say is, well, you built it off the backs of black labor. Without black labor, you wouldn't have white wealth. Stop. Then the motherfuckers gonna stop saying that shit around you. And then you be like, okay, and if you really my friend, then why don't you call out your other European or Caucasian friends that's practicing anti-black racism and treating black people fucked up, and maybe we can make a change. Instead of sitting up here, you know, because you got a lot of other different racial groups, they be so happy to have a black friend so they can be like, it's like a bucket list of theirs. They don't really care about black folk. They just happy that they got a black friend so they can check, you know, they can check that marker off like, oh, well, I'm not racist, I got black friends. But then they still hang out with every other racial group that practices anti-black racism all the fucking time. And then when it comes to defunding the police and all this other shit, that shit is unrealistic. They're not gonna do that shit. So we need to take other matters. Why don't y'all start putting the pressure on these mayors, these prosecutors, put the pressure on these city council, these state legislators, put the state senators, put the pressure on them. Like, look, if y'all not doing nothing about these police killing black folk, then we not gonna vote y'all in no more. We gonna vote y'all out. And you like, what you mean by that? Let me tell you what I mean by that. Stop sitting up here smiling with these motherfuckers that's sitting up here wanting your vote and smiling with you and running this whole fucking finesse game like, oh, you know, I'm gonna change this and I'm gonna change that. And then when they get into a position of power, they smiling with the police. After they done killed a nigga. How many niggas they gonna kill for niggas be like, all right, this is some racist shit. These niggas don't give a fuck about us. You got to understand that, man. But niggas don't understand that shit. The reason why they don't understand it is because I think most niggas be, in my honest opinion, I think most niggas be enamored by by the dominant white society's power and stronghold that they have on economic resources, that motherfuckers be like, well, I don't really want to say much. And I understand that shit. I really do understand it. You like, what you mean you understand it? And the reason why I understand it is because a lot of, I would say, black folk and a lot of people, in my honest opinion, a lot of people, I think they're more capable of going with the finesse than going against it, because then you have to be oppositional, which means you got to stand out, and which means if you stand out, you're in direct line of fire of missing out in whatever breadcrumbs or Hansel and Gretel crumbs that they gonna give a nigga. So you don't really give a fuck about kind of going against the grain, so you're gonna go with the people. And that's a fact. You know what I'm saying? And people need to learn that and understand that shit, man. These motherfuckers don't give a fuck about what you got going on. So why should you? That's why you're supposed to leverage your vote. It's so funny how Joe Biden came out and was basically, supposedly they leaked that audio. That wasn't no leaked audio. They did that shit on purpose, just to let other black people know, look, the nigga ain't finna do shit for you. So don't be trying to start this mass hysteria of why he ain't doing shit for black folk. That was just to quell the storm and let niggas know he ain't doing shit for y'all. That's a fact. And niggas need to understand that. Hey, and for all those people that are not of the understanding and not of the capability of knowing what's going on in this system of racism, white supremacy, y'all niggas need to wake the fuck up too. Understand that this shit ain't no joke. That's a fact. This shit ain't no joke. I'm like, I'm going to have to rewatch. No, you ain't missing nothing. Shit, the audio was tripping anyway. This shit be tripping all the time. It wasn't tripping on my end, but I know it was tripping on the YouTube, man. That shit is always doing that. So I ain't tripping off that shit. Don't even worry about it. But hey, man, I'm gonna tell you right now, and for all those that's listening on, cause I be posting this shit on SoundCloud too, man. The motherfucking SoundCloud shit was kind of tripping too. I remember the SoundCloud shit shut down for a minute. But I think that shit is all under a form of control as well. That shit is not gonna change at all. And the reason why that shit is not gonna change is because you need to understand that y'all niggas hooping and hollering and doing all this bullshit is not going to stop them from killing black folk. Y'all niggas need to understand that shit. I'm about to play some of the audio footage of it right now. Let's see because nigga ain't playing no motherfucking commercials and shit. Let's see what the fuck is going on. Watch, let's see. This nigga, man. Here we go.
Officer who killed an unarmed black man is sidelined this morning, and the city's mayor says the officer should be fired. Officials released video of the incident that sparked outrage in the community. Officer Adam.
Now, if you don't know what we're talking about, it's Officer Adam Coy, a Caucasian, a race soldier, who shot and killed Andre Hill, who was just parked in his car in the garage going to visit somebody. And somebody called the motherfucking police on the nigga or some other shit. Basically, probably a white supremacist or suspected white supremacist called police like white folks do when you in your car chilling, and then the motherfucker came up gun blazing and just started dumping on the nigga. And then after he dumped on him, he was like, oh, you need to show me your hands and turn over, dude, and all this other shit. He probably didn't think the camera was rolling like that. His body cam was rolling. And now the motherfucking mayor is like, nah, this nigga need to get fired. But they just don't want no bad press. That's all that's all that is. That's a fact. Here, I'm gonna play it right now.
Did not turn on his body cam until after Tuesday's shooting. The silent video shows the dead man, 47-year-old Andre Hill, holding only a cell phone. Jeff Pegues has a story, and we warn you, the video we're about to show you is disturbing.
Body cam footage from Officer Adam Coy shows him approaching an open garage. Andre Hill is inside and walks toward the officer with a cell phone in his left hand. His other hand is not visible. Within seconds, Officer Coy shoots and Hill collapses. All this was captured via the body cam's pre-record function. 60 seconds of video without audio. It's
60 seconds with a video without audio. But nigga, you know what you was doing, nigga. Stop with the bullshit, nigga. And just to let y'all know, it's Andre Hill who got murdered, got lynched by a race soldier. He knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing the whole time.
At this point that Coy turned on his camera.
Put your hands out to the side. Hands out to the side now.
Hill lay for more than 6 minutes without aid, a violation of police.
6 minutes without aid, because they want to gun you down and kill you. Every time you leave the house, y'all niggas need to understand, every time you leave the house, you are in danger. I know that all the time. That's why when I'm listening to podcasts or something, I'm driving around, I'm watching every fucking thing. Because, nigga, you in danger. When they pull you over, you in danger. You're at the will of them. They're not at your will. You're at the will of them. And I'm tired of this whole they fear for their life and all that. They not in fear for their life. That's just talking points that they've been given and a directive that they've been given by their superiors. Just say you're in fear for your life. Break up the police unions if you want to change shit. Just break the police unions up and be like, all right, ain't no more union. So guess what? You kill somebody, you're going to be prosecuted to the full terms of the law if we feel like it was unjustified. And you're not getting no pension, and you'll never be able to work in law enforcement ever again. You start doing shit like that, and motherfuckers start being found guilty, niggas gonna be hesitant to kill black folk. But what happens is, black folks so busy worried about symbolism, and AKA sorority Kamala Harris, who was locking up niggas in San Francisco, who was a side bitch to the motherfucking mayor out there in San Francisco just to build her career up. Niggas so worried about symbolism and imagery, we not even worried about what the fuck is going on at all.
Policy. He was later pronounced dead at the hospital.
To see him lying in the driveway, minute after minute after minute, with no attempt.
Nah, stop it. Stop it with the bullshit. This is all theatrics. This has been going on. I'm going to name it to y'all again. This shit has been going on. Why do y'all think that this shit is going to change? This shit has been happening. Now, it's just now motherfuckers got to be held accountable a little bit, because you got to make it seem like you're actually protecting and serving and not just out there being a vigilante and killing black folks with impunity. Oh, but my bad. George Floyd was killed with impunity. Nothing happened to those officers. Not really. Mike Brown was killed. Philando Castile was shot on Facebook Live. Nobody said shit about that shit. Officer Yanez is out right now. Oscar Grant got killed in front of a whole bunch of witnesses. Walter Scott was shot, and the motherfucker tried to frame him and leave and put a fucking weapon. He didn't even know he was being recorded, and put a weapon right there like, oh, he had a gun, not knowing that somebody caught you on audio, on video shooting him in the back 6 times. These niggas been doing this shit. I don't understand why people think that this is new all of a sudden. Lynching's been going on. That's why I got this book called 100 Years of Lynching.
To render aid, and that is a stunning disregard for life, and in this case, black life.
It all began when a neighbor called police early Tuesday to report.
What did I tell you? I didn't even read the whole story. I saw it on my Twitter feed, and I saw it on my news feed. Like, oh, another black man gets killed. Because Casey Goodson Jr., he got killed too. He got killed and fell in the kitchen in front of his family. They basically lynched him in front of his family. Right in daylight, talking about, oh, he was waving a gun and pointing a gun at us. Now, a person who has his license to carry, went through all the proper steps to be legal, just like Philando Castile, why would he then turn around and point a gun at a police officer? Stop doing that. That's just to build up, that is to create this imagery in the court of public opinion where motherfuckers was like, well, he shouldn't have been waving a gun at a police officer. That nigga wasn't waving no gun. Where's the video footage that he's waving a gun at a police officer? Stop with the bullshit. Y'all niggas know what the fuck is going on. Y'all know what the fuck. That's why his mom was like, no, you killed him in front of his little brother, his grandmother. You know what you was doing. And you notice they ain't really said nothing about that. That's because Ben Crump didn't get a chance to get a hold of his mom. She got her own attorney. That nigga wasn't doing no smiling. So that's why. That's why motherfuckers got to watch Ben Crump too. He's not a civil rights attorney. He's a settlement lawyer. A civil rights attorney will be not only suing the police department, but he'll be making sure charges are filed against these police officers so they can go to prison. But this nigga just selling it and getting the bag and getting his little cut of it too. Niggas got to watch niggas like him.
A suspicious vehicle allegedly repeatedly being turned on and off, a non-emergency call. According to investigators, no weapon was recovered at the scene. The mayor says Hill was a guest at the home.
See, that's what I'm telling you. Oh, no weapon was found at the scene, right? Of course wasn't no weapon. And the neighbor, nosy Caucasian, suspected white supremacist neighbor, called the police on some motherfucking Karen type shit and call the motherfucking police. Oh, the car's turned on and off. I don't care if he turned off 10, 12 times. He's in his driveway. He not fucking with you. Oh, this is suspicious. And even if the police show up, that doesn't mean you come in guns blazing. And then he just laid there for 6 minutes. You know what you was doing. See, y'all got to watch the actual audio footage, like listen to it. And then don't even watch, just listen to it, because he's stalling. And then he even says, fuck. Like he knew what he did was wrong. Just like Officer Yanez when he shot in that car and killed Philando Castile. And he was like, oh, what the fuck? And he started tripping out. That's because they're hiring people, a part of law enforcement, that have preconceived notions. They are anti-black racist, and they don't even like black folk. And then you're giving them a gun and a badge. These are vigilante, anti-black racists with badges. That's what they are. That don't even like black people anyway. And then you give them a gun. What you think gonna happen? They gonna start shooting and killing us, and then hide behind the law. That's what's gonna happen.
A review of Officer Coy's personnel file shows more than 36 complaints filed against him since 2002.
36 complaints. So 36, that's 3 times 12. 3 times 12, what is that, 36 complaints? Tell us what the complaints are. And what the fuck was they complaining about? Probably because you were a racist motherfucker. Just like the other police officer. Just like the ones before, like, one police officer shot and killed somebody, and years before, they had him on camera beating the fuck out of a nigga. Like, beating the fuck out of him. And then they didn't discipline him. He was back on the force, doing what the fuck he do. And they ended up killing somebody, which that could have all been avoided. But you know why it's not avoided? Because we too busy smiling with these politicians and with Joe Biden, thinking that Joe Biden is going to change everything. See, y'all niggas going to see, yeah, just like when Obama was in office, how all these niggas was getting killed with impunity. And that nigga wouldn't say shit about those killings. The same shit about to happen right now. That's a fact.
Including use of force. All but a few were marked unfounded or not sustained. It's not clear from the files if any sustained complaints involved use of force. Following Hill's shooting, Coy has been relieved of his duties and ordered to turn in his badge and gun while the investigation continues. Hill's sister, Shauna Barnett, shared her thoughts online. "My brother was snatched away from me.
That's a fact.
Now I and my family will be there for him and other murdered victims to take up this plight that our culture has painfully endured for years." For CBS.
Man, let me tell you something. That's a fact. I'm glad you said that, but that's a fact. This has been going on in our culture for 450 years. See, they just don't like talking. Look, just to put out a few facts. Let's put out a couple of fun facts. Just to let y'all know. Slavery did not end 500 years ago or 300. They're trying to make it seem like slavery was so long ago. Slavery was like 60 years ago. What the fuck are y'all talking about? If you read the book Slavery by Another Name, that shit went well into the fucking 1930s and 40s. What the fuck is y'all niggas talking about? Everybody act like slavery was 150, 200 years ago. Oh, it was 150 because, you know, Abraham Lincoln, he freed the slaves. No, Abraham Lincoln was trying to save the Union. He didn't give a fuck about no slaves. And this nigga was the main nigga that was fucking trying to keep the shit in line. He had slaves too. Why does everybody that is black, a part of our culture, I'm talking about black folk, why does everybody give these slave masters and these white supremacists a pass? Because they were the presidents. Like James Madison and all these other, they were all slave owners. Along with your boy Francis Scott Keys, who wrote the goddamn Star Spangled Banner. That white folks just happen to just butcher every time they sing it, and we just happen to just make it sound so wonderful. And motherfuckers don't even get the symbolism behind that. Francis Scott Keys was a well-known racist and an attorney who had a whole bunch of slaves, who felt like black folks was put here to serve white folk and be in bondage. That's why that Bible is so cold, religion is so cold, because they going by that slave obey your master type shit. Man, nigga, what? Man, stop it with the bullshit. And that's exactly why this shit has been going on so long, and it ain't gonna stop. You like, what do you mean? It has stopped. No, it hasn't. If you don't go to work, you don't eat. That's another form of slavery too. Because if that's the case, we've already got our 40 acres in our mule. Our 40 acres in our mule translates to $40 trillion for 40 million black folk. That's a motherfucking fact. You give us our 40 trillion and stop this talking about they ain't got the money and all this other shit and the pandemic. Oh man, fuck all that. Just print the money. Just keep printing money like y'all been doing. I don't understand why everybody act like the money is backed by some type of real currency like gold or some shit or silver. The money's not backed by nothing. So you could just print more money. So just print more money. But let me tell you what these white folk do. They'll print more money and then they'll just change the goalpost. And they'll just change the rules and be like, oh, black people are now getting reparations. Here's their 40 trillion. Which equivalates to, let's say, $1.5 million per black person or $2 million or whatever it is per black person, right? And then black people are like, oh, cool. And then they're going to be like, oh, but by the way, that money that we're dealing with, we're not dealing with that currency no more. So you have to trade that money in for the new currency. And now we're only going to match 25 cents to the dollar of our new currency. They'll just do some shit like that because they've been doing it all this time anyway. They've been doing, oh, well, we're going to integrate. Then they integrate, right? First it was segregation. Then we're going to desegregate and integrate and have all these black folks with white folks and go to school and all this other shit. Then they started opening up the borders and letting all these other immigrants come in here and then bypass black folks so they can practice benign neglect. So y'all already understand. These motherfuckers got a plan on top of 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 a plan. Trust and believe you me, like the voter fraud shit. Come on, man. They got plans beyond plans beyond plans. Don't think that these people are not dumb. These people are very highly intelligent. As the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, you study the white man. You better know what the fuck they got going on. That's the only thing that's going to get you in a situation where you have a better understanding of exactly what they're going to be doing and what they're going to do next. They're going to take the economy. I don't care what the motherfuckers is talking about. They're going to take the economy. They're going to crash it just like the Matrix. And if you watch the Matrix Reloaded, when Neo went to go see the architect, the source of the Matrix, he was like, you're like the sixth Neo. What the fuck are you talking about? We destroyed this system 6 times and we getting good at it. Because y'all don't know what y'all want. So guess what they're going to do? Destroy the system. That's a fact. Don't ever forget that.
This morning, Jeff Begays in Washington.
The Columbus police chief calls the incident a tragedy and promises that any officers who violated laws or policies will be held accountable. This is the second fatal police shooting in Columbus this month. On December 4th, Casey Goodson Jr. was shot in the back as he was entering his home.
Somebody will have to one day explain to me how an officer with 36 complaints, including use of force, can still be patrolling the streets. It's a really disturbing question.
No.
Yeah, why don't y'all explain to us that shit right there? That was a very good follow-up. Explain to me why you got 36 complaints. Let me tell you something. If you got 3 complaints at the regular corporate plantation job, your ass is fired. But this nigga got 36 complaints. 36 complaints? Just think about when you at the goddamn corporate plantation. If you at the goddamn corporate plantation, you get 3 complaints. Guilty, nigga, you're fired. So why is it this nigga can have 36 complaints? He probably had more than that, but they probably wasn't even investigating him. And remember this, internal affairs, that's a part of the police department too. They're not gonna find no police officer guilty. Please, they're there to do the cover-up. Y'all need to understand that this system works for them. It's never gonna work for you at all. Remember that shit. This shit is never gonna work for you. Motherfuckers need to understand that, man. This shit ain't gonna work for you. Why you think it's gonna work for you? It's gonna work for them. It's never worked for us. How's a system that was created to benefit the dominant white society gonna ever work for black folk? Come on, man. You have to be a fool not to understand that it's never gonna work for you at all. Hold on.
What led to a Columbus police officer shooting and killing a man on Tuesday morning? But tonight, we've learned the names of the officer, the man who he shot, and are getting a first glimpse of what happened from body camera video the city has released. Thank you for joining us for 10
And you notice they released that body cam footage because that mayor didn't want to be. See, that mayor's not a dummy. See, that mayor, he don't give a fuck about no niggas either. He's a suspected white supremacist too, but he's not Rahm Emanuel. So he knew, okay, well, I got to do something. Because, nigga, I'm not finna be out here looking like no asshole. So, guess what? I'm about to throw your fucking race at, even though I'm probably racist too, but they don't know that about me. But they know that about you. So, guess what? Your ass is fired. And throw his ass under the bus. And that's exactly what he get, Adam Coy. And for all y'all that don't know, the race soldier's name is Adam Coy, who already had 36 complaints. So, before y'all think that, oh, no, police are there to protect and serve. Yeah, right.
News at 5, everybody. I'm Yolanda Harris. Andrew's off tonight. We have team coverage. Kevin Landers is learning more about the man the officer shot and killed, and Angela Reigert is looking into that officer's background. But first, we begin with Brittany Bailey, who has newly released body camera video of the shooting. Brittany?
Well, Yolanda, first I want to show you that we are just starting to see a few folks gather behind me. They've set up a speaker. It looks like they're planning to have a demonstration of some sort out.
See, and that's where you got me wrong. I fucking demonstrate. Y'all, look, demonstrating don't get y'all nowhere. Demonstrating don't get y'all nowhere. March, want, and repeat. No justice, no peace. Black Lives Matter. None of that shit has worked. So you have to go with a different approach. Change the narrative. Now start putting, like I said before, where the fuck is Kamala Harris and Joe Biden? Y'all love black folks so much. Y'all want us to vote for y'all so much. Where the fuck are y'all? Why are nobody calling their asses to the table? Why ain't nobody being like, hey, man, we voted for you. Black folks are still getting killed with impunity because of racism and white supremacy. So what are y'all going to do to change it? And then that's when you'll put their ass on blast and they gonna hoe up or blow up. And that's all they gonna do. And then once you see what that is after the 4 years, don't fuck with those motherfuckers no more.
Here in front of City Hall. And this is just steps away from about an hour ago where we heard from our city leaders expressing their pain, their anger, and their frustration about this deadly shooting of Andre Hill. This is the second deadly shooting in our community in a matter of weeks. And this one all started yesterday morning with a non-emergency call from
a non-emergency call, like I told you before I listed, because a lot of these videos I don't watch. I'll read a little bit and then I want to go through the video in full and in live time, so a motherfucker no, I didn't prep myself or nothing. I just be calm. Like, I bet you was some nosy motherfucker who probably called the police on him. I know that's what these motherfuckers be doing. They do that shit all the time, just watching the nigga. Oh yeah, he's got to be a criminal. He's a nigger. He's got to be a criminal. I don't care if he's light skinned. He's a mulatto nigger. He's a criminal. I know that's what they was thinking. That's why they call the police on. And now they need to put the motherfucker who called 911, put his ass on blast too, and be like, all right, and this is the name of the person who called the police. And then motherfuckers need to be at his doorstep like, why the fuck you call the police? Why you do that? You just cost somebody their life. White folks know what it is. That's why that lady at Central Park that didn't have her dog on a leash was talking crazy to that motherfucker. And then when he didn't want to listen, that bitch was like, I'm calling the police. There's a black man who's threatening my life. And look, white folks was not mad about the racism. They was mad of how she was handling her dog the whole time at the park. That's what they was mad at. They wasn't mad at the bitch about being racist and pretending like somebody black was really harming her. And then the black motherfucker was a Sambo because he didn't even want to press charges. He didn't even want to say nothing bad about her. I was like, oh my God, it's too many Sambos in the motherfucking world. That's why we need an anti-Sambo kit. That's what we need. We need an anti-Sambo kit, an anti-mammy kit. And it should be Dr. Boyce Watkins, not even Dr. Boyce Watkins. It should be Dr. Claude Anderson's Black Labor, White Wealth. It should be Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, our Queen Mother. The ISIS paper should be in that package, and then it should be, The Fall of America by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That should be the anti-Sambo kit and the anti-Mammy kit, because these motherfuckers, man, you could get beat into a pulp like Rodney King and then still come up in front of everybody and say, can we all just get along? What the fuck you mean, can we all just get along? They just beat the shit out of you, nigga. You talking about, can we all just get along? The fuck?
There's a vehicle out front of my house, right beside of my house, in the street on the curve. It's been out there earlier this evening running, then they shut it off. Now it's back running again. It's been about a half hour.
Now that call led two Columbus police officers.
A nosy neighbor. The car's running and it shut it off. What does that have to do with you? Stop.
To Oberlin Drive. Body camera footage released today by the city shows Officer Adam Coy walking up the driveway to a home to a dark garage with the door open. That's when we see Andre Hill walk toward the officer holding up a lit up phone. Moments later, he is shot. Now, what we see after that in footage we feel is too disturbing to show on air is Officer Coy ordering Hill to show his hands and roll over. Now, later, Coy rolls Hill over himself, but it is minutes later before anyone tries to help Hill.
None of the officers.
You hear that? Do y'all hear that? And it was approximately 6 minutes. And then when another officer walked up, he basically was just like, oh, have my back type shit. Or some suck ass shit he said. And that other officer didn't run to his rescue. They just sat there and let him bleed and die. They didn't give a fuck. That officer should be fired too. Because you didn't give a fuck about that man dying. Fired too. That's why motherfuckers need to put liens on these policemen's bonds. Put a lien where they can't work at all. And put a lien on whoever. I'm telling you. That's what'll make them motherfuckers stop that shit too. You attack that money. Because they gonna keep paying out lawsuits. They don't give a fuck about that shit. They gonna keep paying out that shit.
Initially at the scene, provide medical assistance to Mr. Hill. No compression on the wounds to stop the bleeding. No attempts at CPR. Not even a hand on the shoulder and an encouraging word that medics were en route. It is an officer's duty to not only summon a medic, but to render aid.
Okay, and if it's an officer's duty to render aid and all that, then why the fuck didn't he do that? And if he had 36 complaints, why would y'all think he would do that? Why would y'all think he would do it? That's because most law enforcement, aka race soldiers, they are vigilantes with a gun and a badge. They don't give a fuck. They're going to abuse their authority whenever they get, because attitude reflects leadership. That's why in the book Two Nations that I've read, they make a distinguishing difference between black crime and white collar crime. Go get this book. They make, and it breaks down, and it's true. Oh, well, it's murder, and they publicizing all this other shit, but then you got white folks embezzling money, doing all kinds of shit. They never say anything about that. Nothing. And then when it's a violent crime, they're only going to post and show you the black folks committing those crimes. They're never going to put out there white folk. That's why they don't like to talk about Jeffrey Dahmer. Y'all know they don't like to talk about him at all, as he was killing niggas and eating them and shit. They don't ever want to talk about him at all. Or Charles Manson or any of these other crazy white folk that were committing violent crimes. They never talk about that. What they talk about is black folk and how we commit the violent crimes, because they want violence to be associated and synonymous with black folk. And that's why it's white collar crimes, because it's more, I would say, suitable that white folks are going to be stealing money from the stock market and doing all the crazy shit. And it's true. And that's the association with that shit. And if it's a black person embezzling money doing that, they going to put you like they did Jesse Jackson's son when he was taking money and doing all that bullshit, or Kwame Kirkpatrick out of Detroit when he was doing the bogus bullshit. They couldn't wait to put his ass out there and put him on blast. But you got so many other Caucasian motherfuckers stealing money from their own campaign and running all these games and all that. Never say nothing, because it's white collar crime. But when a black person do it, it automatically becomes, I would say, romanticized in a way. Like, a black person was stealing money from the stock market. They'll make a big deal about it. But when it's white person, it's like, okay, they just, stealing money, and that's it. That's why Aunt Becky could pick the prison she wants to go to. And Felicity Huffman, the other bitch, she can get a role right after she get out the pen. She did 14, 15 days in the pen, and she already got a new role on TV. And nobody has shunned her at all.
Officer Coy has been relieved of his duties. Today, Mayor Ginther called for his termination, but we also learned again today from Public Safety Director Ned Pettis Jr. that there is a process in place for that, and that due process will be followed.
Basically, we're not just going to fire him just because you said to fire him. So we're not just going to fire him. So sorry, we're going to do due process. Of course. He's protected by a police union. They're not going to that dude's still going to be a police officer. That's a fact. And all they're going to do is suspend him and fine him, and then he is going to be suspension without pay. But he's going to be a police officer again. Trust and believe you me. They're not going to fire him. This is all theater.
Meanwhile, the shooting itself is under investigation by the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation. Now, we do want to learn more.
Yeah, the Ohio Criminal Bureau of Investigation. Basically, more Caucasian motherfuckers that are anti-black racist, practicing motherfuckers that are a part of the system of racism and white supremacy and are not trying to establish a system of justice. That's all it is. These niggas ain't gonna change that shit. Motherfuckers act like, the FBI finna come in. Nigga, please. You wanna know about the FBI? You wanna know about J. Edgar Hoover and the FBI, the cross-dressing motherfucker? Then check it out. Go read The Burglary. Like I said, it's the motherfucking Book of Eli, but go read that book. That'll tell you all you need to know about fucking J. Edgar Hoover.
About the victim in this case, Andre Hill, and for that, we're going to send things over to 10 TV's Kevin Landers.
I'm in North Columbus. 47-year-old Andre Hill was shot inside this garage behind me based on that police body cam video. And ever since Tuesday morning shooting, people have been laying candles in a neighbor's front yard in his memory. Now, we spoke to a neighbor who says she didn't hear a thing, no gunshots, no officer commands. She woke to find her front yard covered in crime scene tape. As the mother of a black son herself, she says this crime hits home for her.
There's a mom out there that's probably similar to me in age. My son is similar in age to that man. And it's an unbearable thought that she had to lose her child. And for what doesn't appear to be any valid reason. This is a dead human being. He deserves to be remembered. I'm very sad to have the loss, but I don't want to forget about him either.
Now, of all people they was going to interview, they're going to interview a white woman who has no idea what the fuck is going on. See, that's orchestrated too. They know why would you interview her? I would have interviewed a black person because they know a black person gonna be like, well, it's nothing but racism. See, so they try to change the narrative. See, if y'all don't wake up and understand what the fuck kind of control the media is under, y'all need to wake the fuck up. That's why Facebook, you say the wrong shit, they'll take your shit down. You could be speaking all facts. They'll take it down. Y'all notice when they start talking about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, they never call him a liar. They just say he's anti-Semitic, but they never call him a liar. I've never heard one person come out and say he's lying. What he said about the Jewish community, that's a lie. And then prove it with facts. They never say that he's lying. They never come out and say that the nation is like that they're lying. They just say that they're anti-Semitic. But they never say he's lying because he comes with facts.
Hill's Facebook page states he attended Northland High School and went to Hocking College, where he graduated in 1995. A friend of Hill's tells us he grew up in the Brentnell neighborhood and was known as a shy kid. One friend tells 10 TV that she remembered him as an excellent cook and thought he was working at a restaurant downtown. That friend and Mayor Ginther also say he is the father of a daughter. Now, I did speak to Hill's brother, who declined to comment. Instead, he decided that he did not want to comment so shortly after this shooting. We can tell you that not only are people placing candles here outside this home, but also on a Facebook page for this neighborhood, people are also placing candles on their front porches in Hill's memory. Reporting live in North Columbus, Kevin Landers, 10 TV News.
All right, thank you, Kevin. Now, we've been digging into Officer Adam Coy's work background. 10 TV's Angela Reigert continues our team coverage tonight with what she's learning about that. Angela?
Hi, Yolanda. Yeah, what we learned is Adam Coy has been with this department for 19 years. Okay.
19 years of anti-black racism.
But this is not the first time that he's gotten in trouble. I looked at both his personnel file as well as reports from Internal Affairs. I want to show you what I found here. Okay, let's take a look at this now. Documents the city released today show Coy has had 89 citizen complaints. Those are ranging from 2002 to 2012. This is what we can see, okay? But only 16 of them were sustained, meaning confirmed. They include violation of police rules and force. Those are among those sustained reports. Now, we found 89 use of force chain of command investigations.
So 16 were sustained. 89 citizen complaints, 16 were sustained from 2002 to 2012. Violation of police rules and force and 89 force chain of command investigations. Oh, he was a vigilante, like I said.
Only 5 of those were deemed outside of policy. Now, I want to talk specifically about an incident that happened in 2012. An internal review determined Coy acted outside of policy when he arrested a man, injuring him. The city of Columbus actually ended up having to pay that man $45,000 in a settlement.
So you already injured a man while on duty and got sued, and they won for $45,000 because you fucked him up. But y'all still kept him on the force. This is what I'm saying about motherfuckers voting for Joe Biden and Kamala. This is what is going to keep happening the whole fucking time. The shit is never going to change. Why would it change when it's benefiting them? So what if what I did cost $45,000? Oh, well, I'm going to keep working here. Now, you go work at a corn plantation and cost your job $45,000. See if they keep your black ass there. Nigga, guilty, nigga, fired, nigga, in a heartbeat. But nigga, just keep doing the shit.
His personnel file, though, when you take a look at that, it paints a very different picture here. In his personnel file, we found compliments after compliments from people in the community, as well as a 2018 award for his service. Now, of course, yesterday we learned that Coy was asked to turn in his badge, turn in his gun. We know that an independent psychologist would have to look at him before he could return to work. But I want to repeat something that Brittany Bailey said, because I think it's really important here. While Mayor Andrew Ginther, he's calling for him to be fired, Ned Pettis, the safety director, pointed out that he's the only one who has the power to do that. And with that, he wants to wait till there is a complete, thorough investigation. For now, reporting live in Columbus, Angela Reigert, 10 TV News.
Yeah, so the safety director is a white supremacist too, and he don't give a fuck. He don't care. Y'all niggas need to understand that. I played a lot of that interview because I wanted everybody to understand what the fuck is going on. These people don't give a fuck about y'all. Straight up. And you can go to these people, march, whine, and repeat, and act like, oh, they care so much about me. Okay, well, you gonna see how much they care about you when they be like, not guilty. Why? Because he's not a nigger and you are. See, what people want is covert racism. Black folks want covert racism. They want people to smile with them in their face and then nigga behind closed doors because it makes them feel better at night. I want overt, blunt, and upfront racism. I want to know how you feel about my people from the Getty. So if I know how you feel, I know where I stand. And I know exactly how I need to move and how I need to go about things. If you're not telling me how you really feel about black folk, then you're putting me at a disadvantage. And it's not advantageous for black folk to be dealing with covert racism. That's the problem. Motherfuckers want to just take the pill that make them go to sleep and wake up and act like this shit never happened. Motherfuckers don't want to see how far the rabbit hole goes. Because when you start seeing, you're like, damn, what the fuck? But niggas, that starts from reading, researching. Let me tell you something about this scamdemic and all this other shit. Just read the book Medical Apartheid by Harriet Washington. Just go read the book. I read it. Go read the fucking book. She breaks down all the shit and all that. I'll just tell you like this. During the Tuskegee experiment, there was a black nurse who was at the helm of the shit. They're always going to find a black person that's gonna take Hansel and Gretel butter biscuits and crumbs and shit to basically castrate and fucking send their own people to the slaughter. They can only do it if they get black people to co-sign the shit. That's why Margaret Sanger, when she was writing all these letters back to Procter & Gamble and all these other people, y'all need to go read this book. It's called The Negro Project. And she basically was writing all these letters and getting all these black preachers and AKAs and all these astute black people to co-sign Planned Parenthood as they were sterilizing black folk. Because she was basically saying that black folks were useless eaters and they needed to be exterminated, and they were like weeds that needed to be exterminated. That's what she said about black folk. So while y'all thinking that these people care about y'all need to fucking wake the fuck up, man. Start reading, researching it for yourself, and don't just take what they say and take it as gold. Trust me, what they tell you ain't gold. They remix everything. That's why they give you the Bible, the King James Bible, with Cesare Borgia all in it. You know what I'm saying? So you can pray to him, so you ain't got no power. If you're gonna pray, you better pray to dirty bookmen. You better pray to the ancestors, the people that really help fight for you. Don't pray to these motherfuckers that's sitting up here. How you gonna have the same power as them and you praying to the God that's empowered them? That's got them out here killing and destroying and lynching and fucking creating generational wealth for their family while you struggling and you ain't got shit. Why would you pray to that same God? That's crazy. That doesn't even make fucking sense to me. While you sitting up here praying to Cesare Borgia, the Spaniard, they praying to Ifa, voodoo, Santeria. They practicing all our shit while y'all ass up here talking about Jesus. Oh, he's a wonderful, merciful God. Lord God, Lord Jesus, all this other shit. And you like, then you see the picture of Cesare Borgia. You like, oh my God, what are you doing? But I guess, man, to each his own, man. No diss, but y'all need to wake up. I appreciate everybody listening, subscribing. Y'all know what it is, man. Go do the research. Be safe. I hit y'all niggas up on Tuesday, man. I'm out. I gotta go get them pies, nigga. Shout out to Wendy too. Peace.